Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Learn with Google webinar, Choosing the Right Tools to Manage Your Campaigns More Efficiently. My name is Kim Doan. I'm a Product Marketing Manager for DoubleClick Search, and I'll be presenting today along with Kevin Winter, Developer Programs Engineer, and Jeff Menegay, Product Manager for AdWords Editor. Now before we get started, I just want to cover off on a few quick housekeeping items. Feel free to submit questions, including any technical questions that you have, throughout the presentation using the Q&A widget on the left-hand side of the console. If questions are specific to something being discussed, we'll share the answers with you during the presentation. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and wait to go through all of the questions at the end. You'll also see that there's a Twitter gadget. Feel free to tweet about the webinar using the hashtag #GoogleWebinar. For the best viewing experience, we do recommend that you maximize your browser's window as well as the presentation within the audience console. To expand the presentation, you can either click on the green button in the upper right-hand corner or drag the lower right corner out. This webinar will be recorded and a link will be sent to you after the event. And finally, as a reminder, please be sure to turn off pop-up blockers to make sure that there are no viewing issues. So now that we have all those housekeeping items out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. So here's what we'll be covering today. First, we are going to be reviewing the goals of the webinar and how Google is working to help large advertisers and agencies be more effective and efficient with the right account management solutions. Second, we'll go into detail for 4 solutions: automated rules, AdWords scripts, AdWords Editor, and DoubleClick Search, including a product overview, use cases and best practices, and steps necessary for adoption. And then finally, we'll walk through how each solution compares so that you can choose the tool or tools that will best meet your needs. And again, we'll also leave plenty of time at the end to answer your questions. All right, and with that, let's get started with the goals of the webinar. All right, so now online marketing sounds simple enough. You choose keywords or sites that correspond to what you sell and create compelling ad copy that then leads to a relevant landing page where customers are most likely to convert. That's pretty easy, right? But what if you sell multiple products, or what if you manage accounts for multiple clients? You'll need more keywords, more ads, more bids, more placements, more URLs, leading to tens of millions of possible combinations, keeping in mind that the opportunity is only growing with increased match types, audience and geo-targeting options, and new online marketing trends. You're spending tons of time on just this manual grunt work and just trying to keep up. And in dealing with this type of complexity, of course you'll want a tool to help you scale. So to help simplify the process, Google is focused on developing solutions that make it easier for you to create, scale, and optimize campaigns that will reach the right audience with the right message at the right time. And in today's webinar, we'll be reviewing 4 of these tools with the specific goals of 1, highlighting the range of solutions available to help you scalably manage and automate your accounts to improve operational efficiency. 2, providing details on each tool, including use cases and best practices, as well as recent updates and enhancements, all to help you 3, decide which tool or tools will best meet your needs based on the time, skills, and costs required for adoption. So why is all of this important? As the number of campaigns, keywords, and ads go up, complexity grows exponentially, and the power needed to manage this complexity goes up as well. So to help you find tools to navigate this kind of complexity, we'll go over solutions in AdWords, AdWords Editor, and DoubleClick Search, starting with some of our AdWords features. And now I'd like to introduce Kevin Winter, an engineer on our Ads Developer Relations team, who's going to walk you through how you can save time by automating repetitive tasks with two AdWords automation tools, Automated Rules and AdWords Scripts. I will now hand it off to Kevin to start off with Automated Rules. So take it away, Kevin.
Thanks, Kim. I'm sure that many of you can relate to this scenario. You wake up, check your account, isn't that what we all do first thing in the morning? And you realize that your ads aren't appearing where you want them to be, so you adjust your bids. Midday, during a final planning meeting for an upcoming campaign launching tomorrow, you realize that your bid adjustment has boosted performance, but is also heading your campaign towards its daily limit a little bit too soon. Stop what you're doing and adjust your budget to match. Finally, before you hit the sack, you check your campaign one last time, making sure the new promotion campaign is set and ready to roll. And through all this, you've had much more important things to do than constantly log into your account and make changes. Enter Automated Rules. Automated Rules is a feature within AdWords that allows you to automatically make changes to your ad statuses, budgets, and bids to the specific parts of your campaign based on a criteria that you identify, so that you don't have to spend as much time manually monitoring your campaign. Automated Rules are available within individual accounts as well as at the My Client Center level. What type of changes can be automated? Here's an example of some of the types of changes you can automate. If you're to draw awareness to a sale, you can set a rule to raise your bids to the level required to be on the first page of the search results. You could also have bids automatically increase by a stipulated amount or percent based on certain criteria. You can also set a maximum bid. If you have a new promotion starting or a campaign ending, you can pause and enable ads, ad groups, and campaigns to match. Finally, if you find that your traffic varies day by day, you can have your daily budget automatically adjusted so that you allocate more budget to peak days. Anyone can set up an AdWords account can set up rules at no additional cost. You can create rules within the Campaigns tab of your account. And you can manage these rules from the Automated Rules page on the left navigation bar. As you can see, Automated Rules are a simple way to automate repetitive changes. We've tried to make it very easy to use automated rules to accomplish more common changes. However, we also know that many of you wish to take a more customized approach to automation, as well as perhaps use some sources of data outside AdWords to inform your account changes. For some of you, paint by number just won't do. You want to create your masterpieces from scratch, and that's the value of AdWords Scripts. AdWords Scripts is a tool within AdWords that allows you to write simple JavaScript programs in order to bring your own data to campaign changes, build your own intuition and business logic into campaign management, and customize reports just the way you want. You can find Scripts off of the automation link on the left nav panel in your account. Scripts is in a limited beta, so if it's not yet in your account, we encourage you to request it, which you can do by accessing the link in the Resources widget of the webinar console. Here's an overview of the key benefits of Scripts. They run on Google servers, no hosting required. They have a simple interface. It's easy to get up and running with it. Requires a lot less technical knowledge than the AdWords SOAP API. Has a lot more flexibility than Automated Rules. And most importantly, you can use external data inputs when making decisions about changes. What can you do with AdWords Scripts? You can write scripts to make the following types of changes to your account. You can use real-world data, such as weather, to adjust bids. You can also use your own formulas and metrics to report on the data that's most important for you. For example, you can compare the performance of all your keywords segmented by quality score. We even have a tutorial demonstrating this, again, linked on the webinar console. Finally, you can look at all the performance across all your campaigns when making changes to a specific one. We have an example of this type of change on the next slide. This is an example AdWords script that balances your budget. It does a few very simple things, and you don't have to understand them right now. But first, we loop over every one of our campaigns in our account. We check what is the current budget and how well it is performing, and then we adjust the budget of each of the campaigns so that the campaign with a higher click-through rate has a higher budget compared to a campaign with a lower budget or with a lower click-through rate. This is an example of stack ranking your campaigns and better optimizing your budget. What you need to get started? To get started with AdWords scripts, you or someone you know who helps manage your account should have a basic understanding of JavaScript or a similar language. There are a lot of great free resources such as codeacademy.com that would help get you started. Since this is a beta feature, there are some limitations you need to be aware of. Scripts does not have some of the features or options as other Google account management solutions. For example, you're not able to modify campaign geo-targets. You'd have to use the AdWords UI, API, or editor to accomplish this. Currently, there are limitations on runtime, so you may have to segment your workflow if your account is extremely large. There's currently no scheduling mechanism. We know that this is an often requested feature, and we're working on implementing it in the near future. If you're interested in trying scripts, I once again encourage you to request access using the link in the Resources widget. In addition, the site offers tutorials for common and very interesting use cases. Once you've decided to implement automation in your AdWords account, there are a few things to think about when creating rules or scripts. You should know your limits. Use minimum and maximum limits for your bids and budgets so they don't get too high or too low. Continuously raising bids can lead to unnecessarily high CPCs, while ongoing decreases could noticeably reduce your traffic. Be informed. Use enough data to make an informed decision. To ensure changes are being made based on enough data, we recommend use a long enough time frame or adding an additional requirement like impressions greater than a certain threshold to your rule or script. Be consistent. Use a consistent frequency and using data from when you're creating your rules or scripts. If you use a short frequency and a long measurement window, you can run into problems. Consider the rule. If an ad's average position over the last 14 days is worse than 3, raise bids by X% daily. This would raise your bids more frequently, daily, than the rule that is evaluating the ad's average position, which is on a 14-day window. It's generally better to use a frequency and measurement window that are consistent with one another. For example, if you run this weekly, you would like to use data from the last 7 days to account for the changes made the last time the rule or script ran. Be cautious. Review your rules or scripts before saving them so you understand how they'll affect your campaign. Depending upon your requirements and settings, you could be making significant changes to a large portion of your account, so it's important to double check. Try implementing a rule with a frequency of 1 time to monitor the actual impact. Once you're comfortable with how your rules are working, you can set them to run on a recurring schedule, daily or weekly. Script previews allow you to run your script for a full 30 seconds to get an idea of what would change if you were to really execute the script. This gives you an idea of the scope and the magnitude of the changes that will be occurring. You should know your business. Be aware of intraday and intra-week trends, a peak hour or weekday traffic that could differ from non-peak hours and weekend traffic. Also be aware of how far away you are from your goals when setting magnitudes of changes. For example, when you could make smaller increments of maybe 5% when closer to your goal, or larger increments when you're very far away from your goal. All of these issues can be addressed by using multiple rules or writing more complicated script logic. Be smart when scheduling 2 rules that affect the same items. What happens if you have 2 rules or scripts that affect the same items scheduled to run at the same time? Both rules would run and make the specified changes to all entities, possibly overwriting or double changing the same object. We recommend that you don't schedule multiple rules at the same time if they affect the same set of data. Instead, if you'd like to have 2 or more rules that make changes to the same part of your campaign, we suggest that you choose different times of the day for the rules to run. Even an hour apart will make a difference. And with that, I'd like to pass this off to Jeff, Product Manager for AdWords Editor, who will talk a little bit more about how to save time by building and editing accounts at scale with AdWords Editor.
Thanks, Kevin. Building and managing large accounts takes time, which for all of you I'm sure is in very short supply. I think we can all identify times in which we've had big ideas and creative solutions, yet have been limited in implementing them because all the time is spent setting up campaigns, adjusting bids, pausing, enabling ads, running reports, manually making changes, and so on. Here's a quick visual for what you all experience on a daily basis. You've got a client with 2 campaigns, e-commerce and in-store. Each campaign has 3 ad groups, each focused on a unique product line. You're experimenting with 4 creatives and keywords, and doing this for 5 different geographic locations. So right now, you probably feel kind of like this, and we want you to feel like this. That's where AdWords Editor can help. Here's a quick overview of what you can accomplish with AdWords Editor. You can create and modify campaigns and all of their elements. You can do this for multiple accounts and for accounts in My Client Center. If you want to create new campaigns that are similar to existing campaigns, you can duplicate them with a simple copy and paste. Then you can just do a find and replace on the things you want to change, such as keywords or ad copy. If you prefer making changes in spreadsheets, you can export all of your account information into a CSV or Excel file. Make all your changes there, and then import them back into Editor. Finally, you can do all this offline, just in case you're stuck on a plane without Wi-Fi. We just released the newest version of AdWords Editor 2 weeks ago. So you can do some great new things in it, like manage locations much more easily. And you can now add and edit dynamic search ads and product listing ads. So with these changes, you can take advantage of recent AdWords innovations in an intuitive and scalable way. So to get started with Editor, you'll need to get the software onto your computer. The URL for Editor is included in the Resources widget in your webinar console. Once it's installed, you'll be able to use your AdWords account login and password to download your account information into Editor. Editor runs on Macintosh and Windows machines, and it's totally free. So now that we've reviewed a way for you to gain back time with easy ways to build and modify campaigns, we'll now look at some ways that you can save even more time by streamlining your workflow across engines. I'll pass it off to Kim to discuss the benefits of double-click search.
All right, thanks, Jeff. So as Jeff mentioned, I'll next be talking about double-click search to help you manage search at scale across search engines. So earlier, remember, we talked about the complexity of online marketing and the millions of different keyword, ad, bid, and URL combinations needed just to keep up with this rapidly growing space. Well, just imagine if you're running these campaigns across more engines like Bing and Yahoo in addition to AdWords. If you had to do this manually, you'd be spending even more time managing your campaigns, constantly running reports, and optimizing bids using way too many different interfaces and tools. So if your goal is to manage keywords, pull reporting, and optimize bids across engines, and if you also happen to manage display through double-click tools, I'll talk about how double-click search can help make all of this easier. So where does double-click search fit into all of this? Let's quickly revisit the chart from the beginning of the webinar. We mentioned as the number of campaigns, keywords, and ads go up, complexity grows exponentially. Double-click search is our solution to help you manage high-impact and large-scale campaigns across engines faster, smarter, and more easily. So let's talk about what double-click search is exactly. Double-click search is a tool that helps you manage your search campaigns, offering campaign management, reporting, and keyword bidding features across all your engine accounts, all in one easy-to-use interface. Double-click search is also one part of the DoubleClick suite of products, which means that if you or your display team is already managing display through DoubleClick for Advertisers, you'll be able to take advantage of cross-channel reporting for a holistic view across your search and display efforts. Touching on a bit of DoubleClick Search's history, so last year we completely rebuilt DoubleClick Search on Google infrastructure, leveraging the product and engineering team experts with years of experience from AdWords. And Google's reinvestment in the tool also means that we're rolling out more and more exciting features every few weeks, with the ambition of making it the best-in-class search management tool, which is why we're calling 2012 our year of transformation. All right, so I just mentioned that DoubleClick Search was rebuilt by the same product and engineering teams responsible for AdWords. And you can definitely see this reflected in the updated interface, which has that same intuitive look and feel of AdWords. That means if you're already familiar with AdWords, you'll spend less time ramping up on DoubleClick Search, and you'll have more time to focus on driving results. Along the left-hand navigation panel, you'll see all your engine accounts listed in one place, making it easier to streamline campaign management by eliminating repetition of logging into all the separate interfaces. So let's take a look at some of the campaign management tools that you can use in DoubleClick Search. So you'll see on this slide the rotating arrows, which indicates DoubleClick Search's bidirectional syncing capability. This means that we can push changes out to the engine as well as pull changes in. In DoubleClick Search, you have 3 options to set up and manage your campaigns using bidirectional syncing. First, you can create and edit objects in bulk for a single engine account directly in the interface. Second, you can use bulk upload sheets to create or upload changes across engine accounts and advertiser accounts. So that's if you manage multiple client accounts across multiple engines. And lastly, you can automatically pull in changes from the engine using our inbound sync functionality. So taking a closer look at the inbound sync functionality, let's say you're ready to start using DoubleClick Search, but you're already running directly on AdWords and on Ad Center, and you're just fearing the drudgery of spending even more time downloading your account from the engines to just manually build them out again in a separate tool. Well, with inbound sync, you don't have to worry about that. This feature allows you to easily set up your accounts in DoubleClick Search with the click of a button. All your campaign elements will automatically then be created and updated in DoubleClick Search for easy tracking and reporting. And on the topic of reporting, DoubleClick Search also offers consolidated reporting to help you easily see and compare performance across engines. We load these engine metrics throughout the day, about every 15 minutes or so, to make sure that you can analyze and optimize off of the freshest data. With all your data in one place, you can quickly customize and build reports that make sense to your business using features like labels, filters, added columns, saved views, and more advanced reporting tools like our search funnels attribution to determine where particular keywords fall within the search funnel. With all of these options, DoubleClick Search not only surfaces insights, but also allows you to take immediate action on them through what we call bulk sheet round tripping. So that means you can download a report, make changes within that report, and upload those changes right back into DoubleClick Search. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And additionally, because DoubleClick Search is natively integrated with other DoubleClick technologies, you'll be able to leverage the same conversion tracking pixel across search and display properties to give you the full picture on all your online marketing efforts. So with our multi-channel funnels, you'll be able to see where search fits in and report on key metrics alongside your other digital campaigns. All right, so once you've set up your campaigns and reported on their performance, what's the next thing that you want to do? Assess whether your keywords belong in a bid strategy. So let's dive a little bit deeper into our performance bidding suite for automated bidding. With our performance bidding suite, you have access to a powerful bid management system that considers dozens of factors to make intelligent bidding decisions in near real time. First, you set or express your goal. We have a variety of different goals aligned to your unique business needs. You can choose from 5 different goals or combine certain goals, whether you want to target a specific position, a specific spend, CPA goal, return on ad spend, or different ROI goals by conversion type. You'll also have the ability to add more controls on top of our bid goals, such as setting the min or max bids you're willing to pay for each keyword. So after setting your goal and specific constraints or additional controls, our bid system then looks at a variety of outside factors before determining the appropriate bid using built-in trend analysis to understand the effect of things like seasonality, critical dates, or other trends. For example, if you are a clothing retailer and it's summer, we know that conversions for summer dresses will most likely spike, and we'll take this trend into account and optimize accordingly. We then optimize spend via intelligent portfolio bidding, moving spend to keywords that will have the best return. Then we send out keyword bids up to 4 times a day based on the data we pull in every 15 minutes from the search engines to get you closer to your goal. All right, so now that we've gone through reporting and bid optimization, let's look at the examples of how you'd use these together. So I talked earlier about surfacing actionable insights via bulk sheet round tripping, which is the ability to pull a report, make edits within that report, and then upload it back into DoubleClick Search to update your accounts. So when might you want to use this feature? So let's say you've downloaded a keyword level report and realize, gee, my keywords aren't hitting their average position targets with my manual bidding. With bulk sheet round tripping, your next thought should be, I know, I'll add these keywords into a bid strategy that will automate keyword bidding toward a goal that I set. So you can make your changes directly in the report that you downloaded by filling out the bid strategy column highlighted in the slide, and then upload that same report back into DoubleClick Search to have your changes take effect. Now that we've gone through the basics of DoubleClick Search, let's take a closer look at what's in store for the rest of the year. As I mentioned earlier, 2012 is DoubleClick Search's year of transformation, so really we're just getting started. Over the rest of the year, we're rapidly pushing out new features to even better improve campaign management, reporting, bid optimization, and cross-channel integration. All right, so now that we understand how DoubleClick Search can help make search work better, here are some considerations to determine whether this tool is right for you. You'll benefit from DoubleClick Search if your business is looking to more efficiently manage paid search across multiple engines, implement advanced automated bid management strategies for your campaigns, serve a whole range of online advertising campaigns, including paid search and display, or if you spend more than $100,000 monthly on paid search campaigns. Now there are setup costs involved, including a $10,000 one-time setup cost that covers training and professional supports. And after that, you're charged on a % of media spend, which is very competitive when compared to other SEM tools. So if you are interested in learning more about DoubleClick Search or using DoubleClick Search, you can contact sales via the website listed on the slide, and that will also be listed in the resources widget of the webinar console. All right, so now that we've gone through the options in both AdWords, AdWords Editor, and DoubleClick Search, let's review a few questions to consider to help you make the right decisions for your search management tool. All right, so this matrix covers the main considerations you'll take into account. Does it let you make bulk account changes? Does the tool provide campaign management automation that reduces the need to repetitively make manual changes? Does the tool allow for granular customizable reporting? Does it offer automated and intelligent bid management? Does it allow you to manage your search easily across different search engines? And lastly, is there a cost associated with it? If so, how much does it cost? So after all of this, what should you be thinking about when you leave? Know that as your online marketing grows, complexity doesn't have to. Google wants to help you go bigger, faster with powerful account management tools, and that there's a right solution for everyone. Choose based on your team's needs. And all right, thanks everyone for attending. This concludes our webinar. Please take some time to fill out the short survey in the widget pop-up to help us improve webinars in the future. And with that, we'll go ahead and open it up for some questions.
So, hi everyone, my name is Katie Miller. I'm a marketing manager here at Google, and I'll be acting as your moderator today. Thank you so much for all of the questions that have been submitted thus far, and please continue to submit them. We have actually about a little under a half an hour left to answer your questions. And we'll start by going in the order of the presentation, so taking some of the automated rules and AdWords scripts questions. The first one is, where can I find additional best practices, tips, and tricks for automated rules? I think that's a great question. Your best bet is to go to adwords.google.com/support, which is the AdWords Help Center, and you can search for automated rules, and there are some great best practices that are included there. And now I'd like to ask Kevin a couple of questions. The first is, people are inquiring about the wait time if you've requested access to AdWords scripts as part of the beta. So, Kevin?
Sure. So when you request access to AdWords scripts, we try to process all of those requests within 2 to 3 business days, and your access will show up in your account. You won't necessarily get an email letting you know, but if it's been more than 2 or 3 business days, if you could please post in the AdWords scripts forums, and we'll try to make sure that you get access.
Great, thank you. And here's one specific to automated rules. Regarding rules, can you save the rule and apply across multiple campaigns without recreating?
Yes and no. This can be done in effect, but in actuality what happens is when you edit a rule, it deletes the existing one and creates a brand new rule. So yes, you will be able to edit that rule, change it to apply to different campaigns, and save it, but you will have to actually edit it, and the existing rule will be deleted.
Okay, great. And the final question that we have right now, we may come back to you, Kevin, but there's a question about whether or not automation is available right now in only in the AdWords UI, or if it is or maybe will be available and integrated with other products such as AdWords Editor. Whether or not scripts is integrated with AdWords Editor, or right now if it's only available in the AdWords UI. So actually we'll have Jeff answer that question.
Yeah, I can take that one. Yeah, AdWords Editor does not support scripts or AdWords automation. So you have to go through the AdWords UI.
Thank you. And Jeff, now a couple of additional AdWords Editor questions for you. There are some people moving from their laptops and desktops onto tablets and are interested as to whether AdWords Editor is available on the iPad or Android tablets.
There's no version for iPad or Android tablets. It's something that people ask about occasionally, but right now we don't have any plans to build a version of Editor for iPad or Android.
Great. And now we're going to move on and take just a couple of double-click search questions. I think the first is for Kim. Is double-click search available for tracking on smaller engines such as ask.com or any shopping comparison engines?
So double-click search is available for basic tracking. We won't have API connectivity with some of the smaller engines like ask.com like we would for, say, Google or Bing. But if you wanted, you could still use double-click search to manage on your smaller engine accounts and track things like clicks or visits as well as conversion data. It's a good question.
Great. And we also have a couple of questions about similarities between double-click search and Google AdWords. For example, is reporting the email option the same in double-click search as it is in Google AdWords? And is double-click search integrated with Google Analytics?
So to answer the last question, we are working on a tighter integration. And for more details on that, I would suggest that you follow up with our sales team. As far as the first question regarding similarities between double-click search reporting and AdWords reporting, so the specific metrics that we pull in from the engine are going to be your clicks, your costs, your average position, and your impressions. So that's the performance data that we pulled directly from the engine. What DoubleClick Search layers on top of that is, again, that it's cross-engine reporting and that you have the ability to customize it in different ways that you would from AdWords. So there are a lot of similarities, but if you are managing not just in AdWords and you're managing on Bing as well, then DoubleClick Search adds that added functionality of cross-engine reporting as well as cross-channel reporting with the other DoubleClick tools.
Thanks, Kim. And can people have their reports emailed to them from DoubleClick Search?
Oh, people can have their reports emailed to them, yep. There's an option to download immediately, but for bigger reports, you can have those emailed to you. You can also set up scheduled reports to have them emailed to you regularly.
Okay, great. And we'll take a couple more DoubleClick Search and then move back to some of the other products. We've had some other questions come in on those. So Kim, these are some questions just to clarify some of the great things that you presented. The first is just a clarifying question on the account sync, if it's an automatic process or a manual process.
Right now it is a manual process, but it's literally just a click of a button. But again, we are working to have our ambition being that DoubleClick Search works around the clock, so we are working to have something more automated daily.
Okay, great. And then the second is, on one of the slides you covered 5 bid strategies for express goals, and someone was hoping that you could just go through those one more time.
So the 5 different bid strategies that we have are going to be position goals. So if you say you want your ad to always show up on the first page, you can set a position goal of 1 to 3 or 1 to 7 or simply just position 1. We also have target spend. So if there's just a spend that you have that you want to use towards bid strategies and you want to maximize any KPI that you identified, so like maximize impressions or maximize clicks within this specific spend, you could do that as well. And then we have the standard CPA, cost per action or cost per acquisition goals, so how much you want to spend per action. We also have the return on ad spend goal or effective revenue share goal. And then our last one is an ROI goal, so either CPA or ERS by conversion type. And what that means is that if you have different conversion types that you're tracking, you might value those differently. So for example, let's say you have a conversion tag to track site visits. And let's say you have another conversion tag to track signups. Obviously, you're probably going to value these signups more because that's showing that clients actually are interested in learning more about whatever it is that you have to offer. So you can set a more aggressive goal with the conversion tag for the signup, so say like a $20 CPA, and then you can set a more conservative goal for the conversion type tracking visits.
Thank you, Kim. So we had a couple more questions come in on AdWords scripts, specifically about getting started. So as Kevin mentioned, Scripts is currently in beta, so it's not yet available in all accounts. However, it is an open beta, so people can request access to it, which once you request access, it usually takes 2 to 3 business days for it to become available in your account. There are no specific eligibility criteria. It's just an interest and expressed interest in participating. And like we said, if you have requested access and it's been more than a couple of business days, you can actually reach out to us and let us know that it's taken a little bit more time than you expected. Yeah, that's how you get started. And in the webinar console, there is a link to the Script site. It's actually developers.google.com/AdWords/Scripts. It has the link to sign up. It also has some great tutorials to help you get started. So that should hopefully cover that question. We've also gotten a couple of questions for Jeff just about future features in AdWords Editor. So Jeff, do you want to talk a little bit about when some features may be coming or what the timeline normally is for feature integration from AdWords into AdWords Editor?
Sure. So as you've probably noticed, Editor does not support every single thing that the AdWords web UI does. In general, we support the most popular things and things that allow you to make your bulk edits. So a couple of questions that came up here during this webinar was labels and segments. So I think those are both great ideas. I don't have a timeline for when we're going to support those, but those are requests that absolutely do come up a lot.
Great. Thank you, Jeff. Really appreciate that. And if people do have feedback and ideas for other features they'd like to see, we are always open to hearing them. So going back, we had a couple of additional questions for Kim. I think one actually had to do with the setup cost and how that applies internationally. So Kim, can you talk a little bit about that?
That's a good question. Again, I would defer to reaching out to sales for the specifics of international costs. So I don't have an answer for that right now.
Great. Thank you. Let's see, lots of really exciting questions coming in. Kim, I think one question that I've seen come in a couple of times, particularly for people who are interested in double-click search because it can manage across engines, is how the features, I know you've talked a lot about how the features compare for people using Google AdWords, but also how the features compare to people who may be using Bing or Yahoo at this time. How there's feature parity in that regard when it comes to things like reporting. Can you give a little bit of clarity on that?
Oh, yep, sure. So I use AdWords as an example a lot, but really anything that you can do on Bing and Yahoo, you'll also be able to do in double-click search. So setting up campaigns, campaign settings, groups, ads, keyword settings, and any sort of edits or customization that you would do on the engine, those are all mirrored in double-click search. So it's not that we integrate better with AdWords. That just tends to be the example that I use. But for either engine, we come close to the parity set that's available.
Thank you. Jeff, another question on AdWords Editor. People are interested to know if it works on Google Chromebook.
That's a great question. Right now, it only works on Windows and Macintosh machines. So the answer is, unfortunately, no, it does not work on a Google Chromebook.
Okay. Thank you very much. Kim, one other thing that we've gotten is for people who are comparing the different options on the marketplace, what the real value proposition is of double-click search. So if somebody was saying, how should I manage cross-platform at scale, why should I choose double-click search? What would your answer be to that?
All right, so the real distinguishing factor for double-click search is that it is natively integrated with these other double-click properties, right? So you have a display arm, you can do rich media, mobile, video. We also have a DSP directly tied into the double-click suite of products. And because of that, and because we share one cookie space, and because we share the same conversion tracking pixel, that offers up more opportunity to share data between the different systems, right? So one of the things that I mentioned was like multi-channel reporting. This reporting is unique because, again, we're using that one conversion pixel, and we're actually deduping it across the different channels. So if you used, say, some sort of mashup solution where you had a search tool and then you had a separate display tool using different conversion tags, you would either be duplicating that data, or you would have to try to mash up the conversion data to figure out, okay, which one was based off of the last click. DoubleClick search does that automatically, so you're not saying, for example, if someone clicks on a search ad, doesn't convert, then clicks on a display ad and converts, display is going to get that conversion, and search and display are not going to share that conversion. And then we do have granular reporting on top of that to actually see the path to conversion that a user takes, so you can make more intelligent decisions on where you want to allocate your budget and things like that. So I would say the main benefits definitely are having that a cross-channel kind of holistic view on all of your digital marketing efforts to make smarter decisions.
Thank you, Kim. And one more question. People have been asking a lot of questions just about some additional integration with AdWords features such as automated rules, whether or not my client center accounts are available, and just generally what the product roadmap looks like. If people are interested in finding out more about what's coming down the pipeline, how would they be able to find that information? Is there a blog that they can follow? Should they talk to their sales team? What's the best way for them to stay informed of all of the great innovations that are coming out for DoubleClick Search?
Oh, for DoubleClick Search, sorry. There is a blog that you can follow. It's doubleclicksearch.blogspot.com. And this is essentially our release notes. So for any new features that are coming out, or for any new features that are in beta, we post them there. And it's updated fairly regularly as we are on a accelerated roadmap. So I would say about twice a week we're coming out with new posts on the DoubleClick Search blog. So that would be probably the best place to start.
And there was a question specifically about the display integration that you talked about. If it's specific to the Google Display Network or display placements outside of Google, so integration with a third-party ad server.
Yep, so this is outside of the Google Display Network as well. So DoubleClick for Advertisers is our display arm that is a third-party ad serving tool that integrates with DoubleClick Search and shares data that way.
And we also have a question just about DoubleClick Search availability in different countries. Is that something also, if it becomes available in countries that it's not in right now, that would be posted to the blog?
Oh, yep, definitely. We are looking to expand in a few areas this year. So just follow our blog and we'll definitely be announcing those new areas there.
Thank you. Have a bunch of other questions. Oh, another one for you, Kim. Lots of DoubleClick Search questions coming in. Thanks a lot. If you have additional questions on automated rules, scripts, and AdWords Editor, Kevin and Jeff are still on hand to answer those as well. But in the interim, we'll keep going with the DoubleClick Search questions for Kim. I think people are really interested in hearing use cases and success stories. So is there a place that they can go to find this information?
So in the resources widget in the webinar console, I think we put a link to the contact sales page. But on that page as well, there are a lot of different resources like studies that we've done, and different fact sheets that will give you more information on actual use cases and benefits of DoubleClick Search.
One question is, right now are some of the ad formats, search ad formats such as site links, click-to-call, location extensions, and so forth, are those available in DoubleClick search?
Site links, yes. Click-to-call we don't have yet, but again, I mentioned 2012 we have a lot of really, really exciting things coming up. And so we're trying to adopt and integrate as many additional features as we can throughout the rest of the year. So definitely stay tuned on new developments as they come.
This is a question that I think either Kim or Jeff may be able to answer. Is the use of AdWords Editor and DoubleClick search together? Specifically, someone was wondering if AdWords Editor could be used with DoubleClick search with some of the other platforms, so for example, Yahoo or Bing.
Go ahead.
No, well, I can take part of that question from the editor side. So editor doesn't talk to other search engines, but if you want to download your ads or your keywords and then import them into AdWords, editor will let you do that. You'll just have to make sure that all of the columns in your CSV file line up.
Yeah, and just adding on whether or not you can use AdWords Editor in conjunction with DoubleClick search. Because of the inbound sync functionality, you definitely can. So what you would do is you would set up everything that you wanted to in AdWords Editor, post it to AdWords, and then run an inbound sync from AdWords to DoubleClick search. So if you're more comfortable using AdWords Editor, that's completely fine. We do give you the option to pull in any changes directly from the engine. So.
We'll stay online for a couple more minutes to take some questions, but in the interim, just wanted to remind you of a couple of things. The first is we love your feedback. We want to make sure that we're continuing to deliver the webinars to you that you're interested in and that they have a high quality of content. So please complete the survey before the session wraps up. The second thing is I know some people are inquiring about the presentation, and we really appreciate that. We will be sending emails out after the session wraps up, maybe a few days, but within that email, we will give you a link to the recording so that you will be able to access this again. So Kim, we have one more question for you. I think people are curious. I think that one of the great benefits to DoubleClick search is doing everything within one place. But people are interested if there's, for example, if they're currently using Google, Yahoo, and Bing, in addition to being able to do everything within a single place, would there be other values to managing everything with DoubleClick search versus still managing within the three individual tools?
It's not solely managing everything in a single place too, right? It's consolidating the aspects of campaign management, of reporting as well, and of bid optimization. So one of the things that we've really, really rebuilt over the past year is our bid optimization tool. Now, those of you that might be familiar with DoubleClick search in the past and have used bid optimization, what we have now is completely different. No single line of code is the same between what we used to have for bid optimization and what we have now. And just to kind of reiterate, we did bring over the same PM and Eng teams that have worked on AdWords, so they have years of bid optimization experience. And that, I think, really is our added special sauce specifically for search management. We have really robust goals that allow you to automate your bidding, but also give you levels of control and allow you to add your own business intelligence. And we've actually seen, we've got a lot of really good user case studies in the works. We've heard really, really good feedback on what we've been able to build out with our bid strategies. So I would say that was probably a big focus of a remaking of the tool, and one of the added benefits that people might not think about as much if they've used the double-click search tool in the past.
Thanks so much, Kim. We have one more that's come in for Jeff, and it was a question. It's a little bit technical, but people were curious to know how AdWords Editor works with My Client Center in terms of being able to bring all of your, if you have a My Client Center, what the process would be like to import all of those accounts into AdWords Editor.
Right. So AdWords Editor allows you to download any account in your My Client Center. You can download one or a few or all of them, and you're also not limited to just the accounts in a single My Client Center. If you have some accounts in one My Client Center that you want to work on, you can do that, and a few in another, you can do that, and you can also just download standalone accounts and run them all through the same installation of AdWords Editor.
Great, thank you. Looks like we have time for maybe two more questions. This is one, again, for Kim. I know that, Kim, you mentioned that there's a certain charge once you initially adopt and implement double-click search. Is that something that if someone's interested in getting more information on, they can talk to the sales team?
Yep, exactly. That's probably the best avenue.
Okay, excellent. And let's see if we had any new questions come in. Okay, we got some feedback on the click-to-call integration with double-click search. For whomever asked that question, we really appreciate that feedback, and we'll definitely keep that in mind. And with that, I think that we're coming to the close of our webinar. We really appreciate everybody's attendance and all of the excellent questions that you've asked. Again, for more information on any of these, we encourage you to access the links that are in your webinar console. You can also go to adwords.google.com/support for the AdWords Help Center. And Kim, do you want to pass along any quick URLs for people for more double-click information?
Quick URLs, yep, so I mentioned the double-click search blog at doubleclicksearch.blogspot.com. And then the other main link that allows you to contact sales and also has information about double-click search value proposition and fact sheets is already listed in the resources list. So those are the main resources that I have for now.
Excellent. Well, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and stay tuned for an email for us in the coming days with a link to the recording. And once again, if you can just answer that survey for us so we can continue to improve our webinars, that would be great. Thank you all for your time. We really appreciate it. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks.